Morning, 20 past 7 in the morning. I'm at Birnbeck Pier. I don't really know the history of the place. I just know I was at Burnham-on-Sea yesterday and I googled areas of interest and I ended up here. And the pier looks to me as if it's been burnt out at some point. Possibly a great fire, that's usually what happens. Insurance claim. If you like using a 10-stop filter like I do quite a lot, then let me give you a bit of a tip. Just remember two settings. Remember two settings, an 1/8 of a second and 1/15 of a second. At an 1/8 of a second, that'll give you a 2-minute exposure. At 1/15 of a second, it'll give you a 1-minute exposure. So all you need to do is in manual, just simply set your camera up. Set your camera up so that the shutter speed is at an 1/8 of a second, then make adjustments to your ISO and make adjustments to your aperture accordingly, and then you can put a 10-stop filter on there, not have to fuff around with your Apple trying to calculate what 10 stops is. 2-minute exposure with your 10-stop filter on, really simple, and a minute exposure with your intervalometer if your camera is set at 1/15 of a second. Just remember those two. So in my instance now, I've set my shutter speed first at an 1/8 of a second in manual, and then according to my light meter I've adjusted my aperture, which takes me quite aptly to f11 with my ISO set at 50. But it might well be that my aperture would have to be wide open or even closed more, maybe f16, f22. Possibly, you know, if it gets a little bit darker, my ISO would have to be raised. But the aim is quite simply to achieve an 1/8 of a second shutter speed if, like now, I want a 2-minute exposure. So just remember those two numbers, an 1/8 of a second and 1/15 of a second. It just makes life so much easier when you're in the field. There you go, it's that simple. Add your filter, turn your camera to bulb mode, switch your intervalometer on or set your timer for a 2-minute exposure, boom, job done. It saves all the fuff, honestly, it really does save all the fuff. What a real shame on mornings like this morning. It had so much potential, I'm sure we've all done it, we've all been there so many times. I suppose this is really what landscape photography is all about. And now to cap it all off, the sun is now just starting to cast some light onto the pier itself, half and half, and it just looks quite unsightly. But while I'm here, I've got my long lens with me, so I'm going to throw my long lens on, throw it all the way out there. Let's get a real close-up of that pier, let's have a look at some of that detail in there. Let's grab a shot, I'm interested. Do me a favour though, if you are going to put a longer lens on, I've got my 70-200, I'll try that. If I can't get close enough, I'll throw my 400mm lens on there. But do me a favour, if you're going to change your lens to a longer lens, a telephoto lens like this, probably won't need that. There's an actual counterbalance there, use that. Look what I've just discovered in my bag. I'm going to be good though, I'm not going to have it, I'm going to put it straight back. While I'm off to the van to have bacon, egg and sausages. I'm not an animal, you know. If anybody's interested, that's my cooking setup in my van. Some fairly decent shots in the bag on my first cup of coffee of the morning. All this before breakfast. Oh, just gorgeous. I've waited until the tide's gone out just so that I can wander across, which I don't think you're allowed to do, but I haven't seen any signs up saying you can't. I'm not sure if I can get access onto the actual pier itself, but I just have to take a closer look. You just have to. It's amazing, absolutely amazing.